What's wrong with the Lakers and their struggles coming out of the All-Star break? The Nets just fired their coach. What's the replications of that? Wemby had a 5x5 game. Think first rookie to ever do it. And the 76ers continue to struggle. Welcome to the second episode of the Hoops Podcast. Well, let's get straight into it with the Los Angeles Lakers. They are 1-2 coming out of the All-Star break, and you may be thinking, Noah, what's the problem with that? There shouldn't be a problem. It's a small sample size, and their losses have come to the hot Golden State Warriors and a Phoenix Suns side who are the 8th seed. Well, this Western Conference is highly competitive, and if they were to win today, they would have been only 2 games off the Suns. But because of that, the Suns gain a full game on them, unlike they would have if they lost to a different team. So now the gap between the Suns is 3.5 games, which is a lot of ground to catch up if the Lakers want to get to the 6th seed. And going over these games, they should have won at least one of them, as the shooting troubles in the first game, 28%, but they were getting into a rhythm, so I don't blame them for that. Against the Spurs, they played well, but it was only 5 points in the end. And then against the Suns, they shot 40%, but they had a big problem with offensive rebounding. But why did these troubles arise? This is what I want to highlight on. There are 2 common factors between these teams that torched the Lakers. The first one, in the Warriors game, guard play was a problem. Stephen Curry went off for 25 points in the first half, finished with 32, but we'll cut that. But other forwards even torched them, and this is another thing I want to touch on. Offensive rebounds. Tracy Jackson-Davis got 4 offensive rebounds, 15 offensive rebounds for the game. And they ended out rebounding the Lakers by 7 rebounds in the end, even though the Lakers are bigger than the Golden State Warriors. Even though Christian Wood is out, I think that the Lakers should have been able to make do, but they weren't able to. The next game against the San Antonio Spurs, you'd be thinking, okay, the Spurs, easy game, schedule it in for a win, and the Lakers did handle the Spurs pretty easily, but it didn't come without its own challenges, as in this game, they only won by 5 points. And the scoreline is a little bit misleading, because they cut it to 5 late on. They were up by 15 points with 4 minutes and 30 seconds to go, but there is a clear problem here. We have a look at the rebounding for the Spurs. 47 rebounds, 16 offensive rebounds. Then the Lakers, 46 rebounds, but 10 offensive boards, which is the reason why the Spurs had an extra shot despite committing 2 more turnovers than the Los Angeles Lakers. Do you see a pattern here? Let's go to the last game that the Lakers played against the Suns today. Yusuf Nurkic was a beast. He feasted on the Lakers and their inability to secure rebounds, as he ended with the stat line of 18 points and 22 boards. Guess how many were offensive? 7. 7 offensive boards. They ended with 14 offensive boards, 51 rebounds to the 34 rebounds. Know how I was talking about guard play? Guess who else torched them? Grayson Allen, 24 points, 6 of 12 from 3, 8 of 17 from the field. Devin Booker, 21 points, also torched them with... You may be looking at the scoreline, 8 of 18, 1 of 4 from 3, that's trash. But the attention he guided, because the Lakers' perimeter defense was so limited and their best defender was Taurean Prince, they had to figure out with a way to try and remedy that. So what they would do is they would get Taurean Prince to come up, and they'd get either D'Angelo Russell or Austin Reeves to come meet them. And this is way beyond the 3-point line. This is like 35 feet out. So they meet him up there so that Devin Booker wouldn't be able to beat him off the dribble, and then Booker would pass it off and it would lead to an open 3 from Royce O'Neal, who had 6 from 10, or Grayson Allen, 6 of 12, which was a huge problem for the Lakers and was a part of the difference. But another part was what I was talking about, Yusuf Nurkic. Whenever he got the offensive board, or even other players, they ended with 14 compared to the Lakers 3. They would feed it out straight to a 3-point shooter and they'd knock it down. The Lakers have 2 huge redundancies in perimeter defense and offensive rebounding, and I do understand a third of their roster is out, with Cam Reddish, Christian Wood, Gabe Vincent, Jared Vanderbilt. Am I missing anybody? I don't know, but it's a lot of players to be missing. And I do give them a little bit of leeway, because once Gabe Vincent, Jared Vanderbilt, Cam Reddish all come back, they can help with the perimeter defense, as they're great perimeter defenders, and Christian Wood and Jared Vanderbilt do help with the size aspect and can attribute rebounds to the team. But at the moment, they're going to have to make do, as Vando could be out for the season, Gabe Vincent could be out for the season, and Christian Wood's out for the next week and a half, as well as Cam Reddish. He was questionable, so they should get him back, maybe even for the Clippers game, get his revenge game against James Harden when the Lakers play the Clippers on Wednesday night, which I do expect the Lakers to show up. They have been showing up on a nightly basis, which that's what Lakers fans have to chill out about. Even though they are losing these games, it doesn't mean they're not showing up. Like earlier on in the season against the Spurs, when LeBron played against Wemby, after AD had just beaten Wemby, and then he won and they lost that game. It's not like they're not trying. They are trying, which is positive to see. So I do expect the Lakers to go on a run. But the question is, will the rest of the league continue winning? That's a very big question, as the Western Conference is heating up. And you have a look, the Lakers 31-28. You put them in the Eastern Conference and they are sitting at the 9th seed, but they're like 3 games out of the 5th seed, which is crazy. Honestly, it is crazy. And even let's go up to the 4th seed Clippers, 37-19. You put them here, they're the 2 seed. It's such a better conference, the West, at the moment. There's so much competition. The Rockets 25-32. You have a look at where 25-32 will put you, not the 12th seed, it will put you at the 10th seed. So yeah, that's a problem with the West. It's not going to be. But the other Lakers game was the Spurs-Lakers game, and we're going to get it into Wemby's career performance. He played so well. In the first 5 minutes, he had 14 points, got Anthony Davis in foul trouble, and he finished with the stat line: 27 points, 7 of 16 from the field, 3 of 8 from 3, 10 of 11 from the free throw line, 10 boards, 8 assists, and then the big part, 5 steals, 5 blocks. I think he's the only rookie to get a 5x5 ever. Michael Jordan doesn't have a 5x5, LeBron James doesn't have a 5x5, and I'm not making the comparisons yet. But based on his trajectory as a rookie, he may have to be in those conversations one day. He may have to be in those conversations. But honestly, Victor Wembanyama is a great talent. Better than any of the first round picks. And it's true, since LeBron, he looks outstanding. I already think he's a top 40 player in the league with his defensive impact and the way he scores the ball. If he was able to get a point guard to help facilitate him, it would amplify his abilities by 10. Like, honestly, it is sad that he doesn't have a point guard, because I would be scared to face the San Antonio Spurs if he did have a true point guard. moving on to the next topic. The Nets, they just fired their coach. I have a video on this, but I'll touch on it a little bit. Ever since firing their coach, the Nets have won. I think they've won. Let me quickly have a check. Nah, they lost to the Timberwolves, got smashed by the Raptors, and smashed by the Celtics, and I think his last game was on the 14th. So yeah, haven't won, haven't got that bounce back, and the Nets haven't scored over 100 points with their new coach. I don't know how this is really going to go. I say in the video that I disagree with it, and I still disagree with it. There was someone who commented, said he was trash, but they have nobody to replace him. And look what's happening now. 86 points, 93 points, averaging a grand total of 89 points. Was it worth sacking him now? I don't think so. Maybe it'll improve the culture, but I just think that the Nets, they don't want to be a playing team, and I think they would have had more success with Jacques Vaughn instead of sacking him. But it's too late for that now. Next topic, we're going to cover off on our 76ers struggles. As the 76ers at the moment are struggling. They're 3-7 in their last 10 ever since Joel Embiid went out in that Warriors game when Kuminga slammed down on his knee. It's such an ugly injury, and I feel bad because he was having the best season I've watched in my NBA experience, and that's not many years, I'm not gonna lie. Last year was really one of the first years I fully engaged. I was briefly watching in that 2020 season where the Lakers won the championship, and watched it in 2021 when the Bucks beat the Suns, and then watched it a little bit more when the Celtics versus the Warriors, because that was a great series. If you guys want to go rewatch that, I rewatched it recently, it was great. And then last year I was fully into it, and the Nuggets went crazy, and it was one of the worst NBA finals I've ever seen, even though Nikola Jokic is brilliant. Don't hate me, Nuggets fans, it was just boring because you guys were too good. But continuing, the wins they've had was against the Cavs, good win, very good win, and I don't know what the Cavs were doing there. I watched the game, but they done it twice in a row against the Cavs. 13th of Feb, they beat them by 2, 24th of Feb, they beat them by 7. So I don't know what's happening there. The Cavs do have a weakness with the double big, as they can be exposed to the quicker forwards. As Mobley isn't the quickest player, as he is 7 foot, it's gonna happen, which could have led to Tobias Harris cooking him, which he did in the second game. He played very well with his 15, 9 and 4, and you may be saying, that's not impactful on the surface, but when he scored, it was definitely impactful. But even recently, got obliterated by the Bucks by 21, then got beaten by the Heat by 5, they beat the Wizards, they lost to the lowly Hawks, who I don't think had DeJounte Murray at the time, meaning that it was just Trae Young. It's like Tyrese Maxey. Oh, but they didn't have Tyrese. Oh, that was the game that Buddy Hield went off. Yes, but still stands. They should have got a result over them. Got smacked by the Warriors, and then that was it. As a few games before that they played, and Joel Embiid played 30 minutes, and that's when he got injured. So my point stands, 76ers definitely need some help, as the 76ers aren't in a good position and can fall into the play-in. Honestly, the Heat and the Magic, great teams, and they are 2 losses from falling into the play-in, and anything can happen in the play-in, literally. That year where the Lakers and the Warriors faced off after the Lakers won the championship, Warriors got knocked out. Simple as that. Anything can happen, and you got to be careful. Like, maybe over exaggerating here, but I think it could happen. I think the powers of Kobe White, I said it, the powers of Kobe White could overtake the 76ers if Joel Embiid isn't going to be back in time. But his injury report, it's looking like he's going to be back by the end of the season. So I don't know what to think of that. I just don't know. But a few days ago, there was an article released. Nick Nurse shares his hope regarding potential return. And hopefully he can return. The injury was basically saying he got surgery in early February, and there's nothing definite, but he's hoping to see Embiid again before the campaign closes out, which will mean they're aiming for hopefully an early April comeback for the last 2 weeks of the NBA regular season. I don't think they'll get it. Once you get surgery, you shouldn't rush a player even if you need to. So I don't think they will, as it's their superstar cornerstone, and I don't think they'll be risking him. If you guys are interested, I have a video further explaining my thoughts on the sacking of Jacques Vaughn.